Welcome back to Hear Our Voices. Thank you for coming back to listen to the podcast. Thank you for being a wonderful audience member. I'm asking you guys, whatever platform you are on, please follow us and share us. We would really love that. We're trying to grow as a community on here. And we're really trying to get feedback also. So if you're a person who has an idea or things like that about what you think you should see on or here on the podcast, we'd definitely love to have that. Also, if you have any events coming up and you want us to come and to be a part of it, or you want us to just advertise what you're doing in the community, we would love to do that. Send us over DMs, send us over emails. Everything will be in the link tree down below. If you want to follow me personally on, on the Hear Our Voices podcast, your host, Kate did, definitely check us out. Check me out, I should say, down below. And follow all our social medias if you can. If you have one or two, you can pick out from there. We also do daily updates actually about jobs and things like that. And I have an event that I'll be participating in soon. We'll be advertising that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this next part 2 of the Bridge Project podcast. I hope this is a place that you can get information from and really be useful to yourself or to others around you. Be kind and be nice. Open your heart and enjoy. Bye.
Oh my God, the single moms living on the system, they're living at NYCHA. And I'm like, do you know how much food really costs and how much they're really giving us? Because it's not that much. You can hardly buy diapers, toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, soap, deodorant, on these things. God forbid if I have to buy a pad. God forbid I got to buy a pad. That's extra money out of your pocket.
God forbid you have to buy a pad that's more expensive than the one that's because you're allergic to, right? Like, again,
yes,
right? Like, it's this blanket. Of course you can eat that. Of course you can drink that. Of course you can, right? And this constant conflict of sharing the experience is then assumed that you're not grateful, right? And then that shame that comes up, right? Like it's all of that. And so I think it's a wheel, and working with the Bridge Project, I've seen that wheel be interrupted. You know what I'm saying?
Happy to hear
because
that,
moms are given this money. There's a threshold, there's a qualification, there's a requirement, but you're not going through bells, hoops, whistles. Proof, we don't need any more evidence of trauma. Like, you don't have to. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like, you don't need to be. It doesn't need to be harder than it already is.
Exactly.
You qualify. Here you go. Take good care. Call us if you need anything. We're here to help you. Like,
so do you guys have like a packet of like a resource packet that you give people if they need any help? Because you said call if you need help. So if a person needs like food or clothes, do you guys have things for that? Or that's like,
I love your brain. When you running for public office, I'm gonna need to know when you're on the ballot. I'm gonna need to know when you're on the ballot. They are ready for you. In case you weren't clear, they are in fact ready. Yeah, so really good question. So folks, go to the website. There's actually a really amazing resource guide that my colleagues and I have worked with and through. That's really extensive. So they can access that resource guide. And needs change. As we know, depending on the age of the child, where mom is in her pregnancy, right? Like, we touched a little bit about postpartum, but also high risk pregnancy, right? So we've had the opportunity of supporting moms, and if they have a high risk pregnancy and now they go into early labor, like, all the ways in which the money has been helpful, because their maternity leave might not have kicked in yet, right? So you have the spectrum of moms in need of support. But yes, there's access to a resource guide for moms that aren't in the program. But in New York City, each mom is assigned a case manager, a community manager, who is there to kind of just be a point person if they have any questions while they're in the program. So while we don't engage with moms in the way that a city agency would, there is an understanding that mom has a name of a person, an email of a person, a phone number of a person in New York City, who can at least support them or help them or help them navigate should they need it. And what I've found is that just knowing that we're there has been good medicine for our our moms, right? Like
Right.
just knowing that there is a person whose phone number who's also there to kind of support them and tell them that 311 actually is a good resource to start. Like it is actually a really good place to start. You know what I mean? Like I'm the 311 queen. Like it is such a good resource. Even being able to say that is helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
So guys, this program I feel like I've known about it for a while now, and I've always heard about it. I didn't know everything about it. I'm learning some things today, and I think it's a wonderful program, whether in shelter or not. I want to be able to help anybody who is, who is in middle class and down, to be honest, because we all need help. People, unless you're rich, you're living up above the line, over 100K, even probably that for New York City is not the greatest because rent, again, is so high. But I'm happy that this program is really out there to help moms. Is it only single moms, or is it like could be moms with families also?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Yeah. So marital status is the mom's prerogative, right? Because again, it's household income, and we know that you could have two parents working two city jobs and not at that threshold, right? Like, right? You could have a TA and a teacher. You know what I mean? You could have somebody working corrections and is a crossing guard. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So it's really less about mom's marital status, whether or not they're undocumented or not. It's really around, do you meet these small buckets of qualifications, and then going through the lottery. And I also want to say to your viewership, if I may, those that are listening that are philanthropists, I think if they are looking for a non-for-profit organization to financially support, the Bridge Project is an amazing project to support, because you literally see where the money is going, right? Like moms are getting this cash allowance. That's where the money is going. You're welcome.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's no confusion. And I think that's also like kind of dope. Like that a mom is going to get up to $1,000 for 3 years. Boom, bam, boom. You're helping eradicate child poverty. Well done. Good job.
For
High
sure.
five.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think also to even put it together with people who are in shelter, because most of our people we do talk to are in shelter. This would be a great way to get a down payment. Again, she said before that it's not a yes, you're gonna get it, but it is a lottery system. But that might be a lucky thing. You just never know what you can do to get out of the situation.
That's right.
This would be a great way to get a down payment for your apartment. And if City Fabs, because they give out all these vouchers, and I'm not gonna be talking bad about vouchers because I think vouchers help out a lot of people.
That's right.
But this would be a way to get yourself into a better leg with the voucher. If a landlord see that you have something coming in, you could say, "Oh, I'm getting this certain money for at least 3 years. Plus, you have a voucher." Maybe they'll say, "Okay, I know that you're kind of settled, even if you're not working right now." Something like that. Anything that you can do to make your family have just a better life and be more comfortable and more happier and just not be in a congested shelter, this is a good way to do it. People might say $1,000 is not much, but it's a lot, because if an apartment costs about $2,000 for a 2-3 bed, probably for a studio 2 1-bedroom, that 2-3 months you add up, that's one part of it. That's the down payment. Then you could do this and that, and that's the way to help. And don't forget also the one-shot deal. Don't forget that one, because people might leave the shelter not remember that also. But put this together with the one-shot deal, so you have a couple of months ahead of time of rent. So I'm just saying these are things. The city FEPS is 5 years because to get extended more, plus the 3 years. That's a little money in the bank you can save up, pocket money. I'm just saying a lot of different things can go up, and I think this money can help so many families. You want your child to not to grow. A lot of kids are growing up in shelter. I don't think anybody on purpose wants that to happen. And this is one of the things that can help you. Definitely take this opportunity.
Absolutely. I would tell any mom to apply, any family to apply and see what happens. And and call your Congress people, right? Like, like real talk, and be in our communities and keep having these conversations about the ways in which we can make life softer and more enriching and fulfilling for our young people, for children, because they're gonna be the ones to to do this thing called life in and adulting. And
right.
It's our duty, I think, to make sure that we leave the world better than we found it, and equip moms who are the best CEOs, CFOs, CMOs.
Right.
Like, come on, to be able to do this work of parenting and mothering, which is such important work. Such important work.
I'm just thinking about the 52,000 requirement. Was that always a requirement, or did it go up after, again, the pilot? Like, I know some things usually change in pilots. So was that always like the start off, or did they see that
That's a good
amount that they
question.
gave before?
Yeah, I think from 2021 we were at 52,000. Yeah, because I mean, and what is it? It's just 2024. So, wow, can you believe it? It's 2024.
I cannot.
Yeah. And I love how you reminded us that being in the program just creates opportunity and financial choice, right? Whether you want to save that money, whether you want to use it towards rent, whether you want to use it towards enrichment, swim lessons, dance lessons,
right.
Library card trips,
right.
Museum trips, library card, whatever it is. And I can't reiterate enough that that's one of the things that our moms love the most about the program, is that it's no questions asked. And what a gift that is, to be able to be a whole grown adult doing what you need to do for your family, because you're a whole grown adult and you know what you need to do for your family. Like, imagine that,
right.
Yeah.
Who knew? Like, who would do that? The whole adult.
Yeah.
So, do the parents get it in hand? Do they get it on a card? Is it
Good question.
a prepaid?
Good question. So, it will be $1,000 in New York City. It's on a preloaded debit card right now, right? So they get $1,000 for the first 18 months, and then it steps down to $500 for the second 18 months.
Got it. $500, $1,000 you didn't work for? To me, it's a blessing either way. I'm just saying, it's free money. They take. Do you do interviews in the middle of that time, or do you just give it to them and just do what you want, or like they do check-in interviews, do things like that?
Yep. So we do reach out. You're so good at this. The questions are amazing. Like, you just,
thank you.
I love it. So we do check-ins with moms every few months. Whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Sometimes just depending on when the mom onboarded and where the mom is, there may be a more communication, right? But we do try to reach out to moms. We do reach out to moms periodically to just check in. And moms aren't obligated, mandated, required to respond back.
Right.
It's just us understanding as an organization what navigating New York City is like, full stop, period. Right. What navigating New York City is like as a parent, what navigating a kid in you know what I mean? Being a person in New York City as a parent now, right? So it's just an opportunity for us to just say, hey, we're here. This is how we can support you. If we don't know, we say we don't know, and we'll help navigate that question towards somebody who can be supportive.
That sounds great. Like, it seemed like you guys covered a lot of things to be able to help families and to make sure they have a better life and get out of poverty. I wish they honestly had this, like they had for the tax thing they did in Corona, that parents got 200 and I think it was 250 and then 300 or something like that, when depending on what age your child was. I think they should offer it to more families. I know it's funding, so it's not like you're the problem. They have to get more money into the system, into this particular thing, to be able to give it to all families. But I think they should have a program for this for people under a certain income bracket anyway, because we are struggling out here. I think people think like, oh my gosh, you're living this life, but it takes a lot of work. A lot of people have to have multiple jobs. And can you imagine having children that you love to death, but you're working multiple jobs? You don't get to enjoy your child. God forbid if your child dies early. It happens all the time, and it's kind of sad to say, but I would be so depressed and hurt if I knew that I'm working 2, 3 jobs. My child dies at a certain age. I didn't get to experience them like I wanted to. And that's the sad thing about it. So having this particular program is it's very good, because it can help out families to stay home more with their child, experience it. Like, kids remember these memories. I have memories as a child going to Jamaica with my mom. We might not have been the best like mom and daughter, but I remember certain memories that I had with her. And she worked as a cafeteria lady. She didn't make that much, She also had those side jobs, and I also remember her working a lot, also on Saturday and Sundays. So I didn't see her. I was at people's house when stuff happened to me, unquestionable, and having just being with your mom, and also when you're not watching your own child, anything could happen to your child that you don't know about because you're not there watching them. Granted, stuff can still happen in your house and you don't know, but at least you're close by if the child have to yell for you. But when your child is somewhere else and then something happens to your child because of that reason, if you're a real parent, because not people have kids, but they're not really like real parents or real moms and dads. They're just making kids out here. But when you're a real parent, you have a heart for your child, and to know that something happened to them, that's a different story. So I think it gives families a great opportunity to kind of stay more time. You hear about the latchkey kids, how they didn't have all these things. No, you have these children. You want to experience these children. They're just not another human just to have. They're a person to love on, to care for, to grow with, to learn things from.
Yeah, for sure. And having the space to do that.
Yes. Yes, it is. I know how it is. It's a lot. I think anybody who, if you can qualify for this program, I didn't get it. I wish. I don't qualify no more, but I wish I get it.
Well, you know what, doggone it. I'm glad you don't qualify anymore. Can I just say that?
Thank you.
Good job, Khadija. And I remember going to Jamaica with my mother too. As soon as I smell the island, life is better for me. My nervous system is just like, good times, good memories.
Yes. Please, guys.
But I would definitely encourage every family to apply. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Whether, as you said before, whether you're married or not, whether you got a boyfriend or not, I'm just saying take the opportunity because it's something that's out there. And I know New York City has an abundance of things. Apply for everything you qualify. Don't think, oh my God, you're too good. Like I grew up in that. My mother, I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing or Jamaican. I don't know what it is. But going on special programs, SNAP, welfare, they're like, don't do that, don't do that. But I had to suck up my pride and go on every program I could find that me and my daughter qualified for because I wanted her to have a better life. I brought her in the world and I was homeless. And to look in my child's face and say, dang, you came here and I failed you already. And you just got out. You just came out of me. It's a sad thing to really feel that way. So if you are a person, just suck up your pride. It's not really for you. It's for the baby to make sure they can have a better life. So
for sure. And it's okay for us to need help, right? Like, yes, I don't, maybe it's a Caribbean thing as well, like that shame of being in the system. But at the end of the day, the system is there to help, right? So, yes, it didn't feel necessarily great, right? But also it's there for that purpose. And it was a gift. Like in that moment in time and space, I needed it, took advantage of it. Not took advantage of it, but you know what I mean, right? And I'm grateful. And so, yes, absolutely. Swallow the pride, let the shame dissolve, whatever story is in your head, use the tools and resources that are here to access a better quality of life for yourself, and then pay it forward, right? And then, in 10 years and 5 years, you too can help other women by either sharing your story, by making a donation to Bridge, by volunteering in your community. Like, just keep the progression going. So that we can end child poverty and we can hear giggling babies all over the world.
I never realized. I just put two and two together. You said that you use a program. You said your baby was born 2022, which is technically that's 2 years ago. So you did qualify
2002. 2002. He's 21.
That's what I meant. 22.
Yeah.
Oh. So you qualified for the program. So you are a product of the program.
I could have been. Yeah, for sure. And I, before the podcast, you asked me, did I have a lived experience of being homeless? And, in our conversation, we were just kind of talking about life, mothering and all of that other kind of stuff.
Right.
And I think, what connects us is what connects us, right? And this understanding that my struggle and your struggle may look different, but we had this shared experience of feeling profoundly frustrated, feeling like a failure as moms, feeling under-equipped, feeling under-resourced, right? And I think what makes me drawn to this work is the spectrum of women that we serve. It's the spectrum of moms that we serve, and the spectrum of birthing persons that we serve, right? Like, yes, you can be homeless and you can have that city job, right? And so I can connect with all of it
Yes.
Because the mind chatter for all of us is, I did something wrong.
Right. It's so true.
Right. And
Right.
that's the lie,
It
regardless
is.
of being
It
homeless
is.
or this, right? It has nothing to do with right or wrong. The systems are not set up for us to succeed, full stop, period.
That's true.
They were not designed for us to succeed, full stop, period. When we look at tax code, when we, you know what I mean? When we look at income disparities between brown and black folks,
Yes.
blah, 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 right? Like it's not set up. So it's not about faults. And so I loved when you encouraged your listeners, and I'm encouraged.
Thank you.
Apply for what you can apply for, get what you can get, and move forward. Like take whatever action steps you need to move yourself forward. Full stop, period.
The system is not made for us to succeed. To be honest, I was on welfare from 18, like 2007 or so, until 2020. What year was that? What year are we in? 2022.
24.
So I was on it for a while. And the problem is that they want you, once you, as I said before, if you get a job what they think is too much, they just want to kick you off. They don't give you a grace period. They don't give you nothing enough to really stand on your feet. So if you get a proper job in their eyes, you're just automatically kicked off. And that's not good. When you are a person who's coming literally off of welfare and you haven't had a job for a while, or most of the time I had it, but I always had a job, but it was just not paying enough for me to really survive by myself without the welfare. And certain jobs I wouldn't take, especially when I had my daughter, because either it started too early and I didn't have nobody to pick her up or drop her off to school. So you got to think about those kind of things. But also, I got to think about, it was a Con Edison job. They wanted me to do, I think it was 7:45 or 8 something in the morning in Queens, and I live in Brooklyn. And my daughter went to school in Brooklyn, so it's like, that's going to be hard to do. It's going to be non-existent unless I fly like Superman or Supergirl, as you want to say.
What's the matter? You can't find your cape?
Right. It was a lot, but also the money that they gave me, when I think about how much school costs and everything else was going to break down, because I think at the time daycare was like $500 or something, and they paid all of it. I'd have to pay like a down payment. Some people had to pay like $15, $10 to the daycare, but mine was free. But I gotta think about that. I gotta think about where I'm living. Are they gonna pay my shelter part of it? Are they gonna still give me cash? I have to think about the money I'm making for Con Edison.
You gotta run the numbers.
More. You gotta calculate that.
Yep.
So if it's not more, if it's not at least $2, $3, at least $1,000, I'm not taking that job. That might sound crazy to somebody, but between getting up in the morning, dropping her off, and the money they're gonna take away from me, and I still have to make it up, it didn't make sense. That's why I take jobs now, because I'm over the amount and they're not gonna give it to me anymore. But at first I was like, I gotta really think, is it gonna be worth it? And if it's not gonna be worth it, I can't take a job, because it doesn't make sense to take that job. In Corona, for me, compared to a lot of people lost their jobs. That's when I got my most jobs, and ever since then I've been flourishing. So that time really worked out for me. And I think because the homeless spiked a lot because of Corona and everything, it kind of worked out. And it was at the time looking for people with lived experience. So that kind of helped me out. And also at the time I was on unemployment, $600 extra every week. So it kind of helped me out to get myself out of debt and everything like that. So that time worked for me. But after they kind of got it together, it's like, oh, you make too much. Bye. And to me, it's not a lot.
But well, and also, like, real talk, Khadijah, like when you run the numbers, right? And you see what's calculated, and then you have to make the choice with those two choices, right? On the surface, it's like, I didn't take that job because, but really what you're saying is, do I want to rub two dimes together, or do I want to rub two nickels together?
Right.
It is that. So what that choice does to your nervous system as a caregiver, like, it's an easy choice, but it's not an easy choice, right? Because there's I want to work. I want to be right. And mind you, being working at home as a caregiver is a full-time job, right?
It is.
So I want to work outside the home for another organization. Let me be really clear. As opposed to, you know what I mean? And to have to make that decision is very stressful, because, then it's, well, you didn't take the job. Right. It's all the societal, the inner mind talk, and also what comes back. What you mean you didn't take a job? You got opportunity to take a job, but it's like, you're not understanding what that does to my mind, body, nervous system, and how that impacts how I show up as a mom. And that matters.
It does matter.
Stop telling me that this doesn't matter. you know, and then the stress of like, okay, is another opportunity going to come? Did I just walk away from, you know, on all of these things that go into making those decisions. And so, yeah, you didn't take the job, but it was a choice between rubbing two dimes and rubbing two nickels together. It's like, nobody's
so
winning
true.
here.
It's not. I did that one time, and I made people pick up my daughter after school. I paid her a little hundred and change a week. And when I calculated how much I was losing from welfare and how much I was giving to this person, I don't think I made over $50 to myself just to survive. Like the money was taken away from me was more than what I was getting in. And it didn't make sense. It didn't make, I still did it because it gave me something to do, but it doesn't make sense. The way that the math was not mathing at all. No. And it's like, I don't want to live this way. Yeah. That's why I do multiple jobs, because I don't want to be homeless again. And granted, you could be homeless at any point, because people think like, oh my gosh, if you're just lazy, you're going to be homeless, or you're just a drug addict. No, people have floods all the time and are homeless. People have fires all the time and become homeless. People have people they're living with.
People have city jobs or good jobs or working homeless. Like not
exactly.
Everybody who's homeless is unemployed.
Exactly.
You know,
I think I just want to make sure when I do these episodes, people understand homeless is not like, oh, it's a person's fault, like you said before, why it's happening. Something can happen to you and it just becomes a divorce, a DV situation. People are like, oh my God, people are so happy. But no, every week her head is getting bashed in. Every week this man or woman is calling this person a name. And people think that, oh my gosh, it's only domestic violence, it's only hitting. No, it's a lot of different things, and that person needs to leave. Especially if you have kids. So the kids are thinking the stupidness. Like, it's happening all the time. It's like, no, they need to live in better conditions. So you might think, oh my gosh, you're the reason why it's happening to you because you're homeless. No, things are happening to me while I'm homeless. I got kicked out of my house. For 25 years I lived there. I was pregnant, kicked me out. And I was married. Not like this happened, because my family is very Christian. So it's not like, oh, I had a baby out of wedlock, oh my God, is she born disgrace? My husband was in Jamaica, but I was married. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I got a bachelor's degree. It's not like also she just all of a sudden had a kid and she had no degree, she had no job. I was working, had a degree, wasn't a great job, but the point is that I was working, had a degree, and all these things. It might not be the luxurious lifestyle, but the point is I still had stuff, in there trying to get better in my life, and I ended up getting pregnant, which I don't mind. I love being a mom. I love being pregnant. I couldn't wait to be pregnant, to be honest. But it's just like things happen to you, and you just have to go with the punches. You have to just you can't just stop there, keep on getting beaten up. You have to keep on tumbling down till you get to proper ground and kind of run away and get your life together. So I don't want people to go away and think like, oh my gosh, these homeless people are just, no. Things happen to people for them to be in a situation. And I want you to take that away. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
No problem. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a guest on my podcast. Well, not mine. It's a Homeless Coalition's podcast, Family Homeless Coalition's podcast. And I just want us to come out with again, I don't want to make sure I understand. Please join this program. Like if you have, join it. I'm not, mind you, I never had it before, but I just know it works. I know it works. Giving cash to people works. We saw it happen with the tax thing in 2020. People got the little extra.
For sure. We need that back. Yeah.
And a little bit more money than the $250 that I got. I'm just saying, but I pay a lot of taxes. I want a little extra. I want at least 3, 4, 5. I'm just saying, a month.
I mean, when you talk about data, right? Like it's like what 46%, 46% just gone. Just
right. Just that's a big number.
You know what I mean? That's huge. 46% decline. Like, come on,
Exactly.
So. And shouts out to you. I just thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for your transparency.
Thank you.
Your grace, your wisdom, your questions, your advocacy, your wit. Just I bow down.
Thank you.
Woman to woman. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your job. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for advocating for us too. Thank you for knowing that we need cash assistance. People need cash. Just not any questions. Yeah. People just need cash. And thank you for what you do. I know you're working hard. I know it's not easy. People think that, these jobs are easy. They take a lot out of you because they also hear people's stories. And hearing people's stories and where they actually come from, it can be heartbreaking a lot of the times. I'm hearing them. I hear a lot of people's stories of how this and that happened to them. They're on these like different problems. And it's very heartbreaking to hear this is happening to people. And I know these things are happening, but to know that a person I'm speaking to right now, it happened to them, it can be overwhelming. So thank you for your job and what you do and how you help out families in New York City. So yeah, sure.
So much love and Happy New Year, and to be continued. I'd be
Yes.
curious to see, you know, how we grow and how we can keep this conversation going, to eradicate child poverty in New York City and to make sure that homeless folks are no longer homeless. How about that?
I have one more question because I think it's.
Anything.
Are you in Connecticut? Like not you, but like are they in other states other than New York City? Because people around the world listen to me, so I want to know if it's just in New York City right
Can you
now.
just say that again? I want to hear you say
People
that
around the world listen to
again.
me.
Say one more time to me. What?
People around the world. The analytics tell me that all of y'all listen to me, but you know, thank
Them
you for
all
doing.
over the
You're amazing.
interweb.
But yes,
I know that's right. So yeah, we are looking to expand outside of the state of New York. The latter part of this year or next year. For sure. We are looking to expand. For sure. That's without question.
That's good. I only say that just because I know some people in politics, like the politics, do listen here and there because they have come to me and told me this. So I know that for a fact.
Yes.
So if you are listening and you live in other states other than New York City, and if you're a person who lives in New York City and want to donate to the Bridge program, we would love for you to make the program bigger and better. We're only up from here. We're not going down. So if you want to expand and help them expand in other states and know how to, because I know every state, as you know, have different laws, so they have to get in a certain way to make things work. If you can help them with these things, I know I'm not, granted, I don't work with the Bridge program. I just know they need the help because everybody needs help, you know, from anywhere. Definitely, we're going to put down the information down below. And if you want to be a person to kind of help them along with their journeys, we would love to have that also. So.
Absolutely. Yes, and.
Well, guys, we have come to the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned so many things. Please apply. Please apply. Please apply. I'm not going to stop saying that. Just please apply. It could help out you and your families. Make sure you watch us on all the social medias. We have on different, if people need job opportunities, things like that, job readiness programs. Well, we don't particularly do it, but we give you the information to go where you can get those particular things. We are right now doing social media posts 3 times a day, 5 days a week. So if you want to go on any social media program, platform, we're definitely there. I might do some live soon. We'll see. If you give me a topic, I might help you out with that. But thank you for listening. Thank you for being amazing, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Bye. Take care.